What do you remember about the boss of the Gambino mafia clan, who died in the United States? For 17 years, one of the most famous crime bosses in the United States. The boss of the Gambino mafia clan, and gangster Peter Gotti, spent 17 years behind bars in a North Carolina state prison. He had 8 years left before his release. On February the 26th, Gotti died in the ward of the Federal Medical Center in the city of Butner. Doctors assure that the death occurred due to the old age and poor health of the gangster. The man was 81 years old. About what the Gambino family is known for and why its head was called the dumbest Don. In the city of Butner, North Carolina, the boss of the New York Gambino mafia clan, Peter Gotti, died at the age of 82. There he served time in a federal prison. The Associated Press was informed about this at the Federal Medical Center, where the gangster was treated. The institution said the death was due to natural causes. The Gambino clan was founded back in 1902. It is still one of the 5 largest families of the New York Mafia, along with the Colombo, Genovese, Lucchese and Bonanno dynasties. Members of the clan are involved in racketeering, extortion, usury, contract killings, as well as illegal dumping of highly toxic waste, and fraud with construction contracts. In addition, they were accused of fraud in its sector, robberies and car thefts. The family's heyday came in the 1970s, when it was headed by the legendary Carlo Gambino. Carlo and his successor Paul Castellano ensured that the Gambino's power was firmly established in New York, and the godfather of the clan was called Capo di Capi, boss of bosses. However, in 1985, turmoil began in the family, which ended with the death of Castellano. He was killed by John Gotti and his friend Sammy Bull Gravano. They also led the clan. John Gotti quickly became a celebrity. He willingly gave interviews and communicated with the public. Soon he was even nicknamed the Dapper Don. At the same time, John Gotti and Sammy Gravano were supporters of tough methods and did not disdain large-scale bloodshed. In 1992, disagreements began between Gotti and Bull, and soon the FBI arrested them on suspicion of the murder of Paul Castellano. Sammy Gravano began testifying against his boss, breaking omerta, the mobster's code of silence. Due to this, in 1999, the Dapper Don ended up behind bars, where he died in 2002 from cancer. Although all charges against Gravano were dropped, after some time he was nevertheless sent to prison for drug trafficking. When John Gotti went to jail, he handed over the duties of boss to his brother Peter Gotti. Until this time, Peter was a simple orderly, and in his free time he worked as a driver for other gangsters. Gotti went into early disability retirement after suffering a head injury from a garbage truck. He didn't become a godfather by choice. He was just trying to carry out his brother's orders, and he had a difficult task ahead of him. Former mobster and John Gotti confidant Louis Casman told the Associated Press. In fact, many of the clan were very upset with him because he was not a strong leader. He added that Gotti was even called the dumbest Don. He emphasized that Peter Gotti was an ordinary guy who didn't let his title go to his head. In Casman's opinion, the gangster was too kind for the head of a crime family. Nevertheless, Peter was still able to develop a plan to eliminate Sammy Gravano, who handed over his brother to prison, and even managed to hire a group of killers. However, the police found out about the boss plans, and in 2002, as a result of an FBI raid, Gotti, along with the rest of the top members of the Gambino clan, was detained. A year later, he was sentenced to 25 years in prison on charges of racketeering and preparation for murder. Repeatedly, the mafioso, together with his lawyers, sought early release due to poor health. As Louis Casman reported to the Associated Press, the gangster suffered from thyroid disease and was blind in one eye due to glaucoma, which is why he was also known by the nickname One-Eyed Pete. "We are truly afraid that he will die soon. He feels like he is dying," Peter's lawyer James Craven wrote in court documents in December 2019. As his lawyer, "I fear this will all come to a head soon if nothing is done." The lawyer tried to prove to the court that his client did not pose a threat to society. Even Stevie Wonder, a blind American singer, Gazeta.ru, could see that Gotti could not harm anyone, Craven said. Note that while Gotti was in prison, his duties were performed by Arnold Squitieri, 2000–2005, Nicholas Corazzo, 2005–2008, Domenico Cefalo, 2011–2015, and Francesco Colli, 2015–2019. The first two were also hit into the hands of law enforcement officers. The last acting boss, Francesco, was shot to death on March 13, 2019, on the porch of his home in New York's Tot Hill neighborhood. Colli was known for skillfully negotiating with other mafia families and resolving conflicts only peacefully. As a result, turned out that the killer of the gangster was a mafioso from his own clan, Anthony Camello, who wanted to remove him. He is now in prison. Members of the Gambino family never elected a new boss. The life of the Gambino clan formed the basis of many stories in world culture. They were inspired by Mario Puzo, describing the collective image of Vito Corleone in the famous novel, The Godfather. In 1994, Roger Young's television film, Catching Gotti, was released. In 1996, the film, Gotti, and in 1998, Witness for the Gang. The film, The Sinatra Club, released in 2010, tells the story of John Gotti's early life. In 2015, the television series, Birth of the Mafia, New York, was filmed, telling the story of the Gambino family.